Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to Crime Zone. Whether it's the theft of money, art, jewels, or some other item of value, it's safe to say that most people love a good heist story. A rare example of a crime where people seem to be on the side of the perpetrators as much as the victims, it's no wonder that examples of our fascination with these kinds of stories abound. The combination of ingenuity, daring, as well as the allure of quick riches involved in these crimes certainly has all the makings of compelling narrative, and there's little doubt that storytellers in Hollywood, news media, and other places have capitalized on that fact over the years, playing their part in making these heists the iconic crimes that we recognize them as today. With that out of the way, let's get to our list of 10 most iconic true heist stories.
While you may not recognize the name, you've almost certainly heard a variation of the story and of the notorious perpetrators behind it. The 1899 Wilcox train robbery, attributed to Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch, has become the stuff of Wild West legend, not to mention the inspiration for many TV shows and movies. On the morning of June 2nd, outside of Wilcox, Wyoming, a Union Pacific train was flagged down just before it could cross a wooden bridge. After forcing the crew to separate the locomotive from the carriages and drive the locomotive over the bridge, Butch and his gang reportedly blew the bridge up with dynamite, broke into the safe, and escaped with an estimated $36,000 in cash and other valuables.
While almost any of the high-profile heists the international jewel thief network dubbed the Pink Panthers have pulled off over the years could arguably make this list, it is their December 2008 diamond heist at Harry Winston Jewelers in Paris that they are perhaps best known for. After 3 of 4 gang members involved dressed up as women, they approached the store and were buzzed in by staff, only to pull out guns and a hand grenade halfway up the stairs. After deactivating alarms and cleaning out display cases, they were gone within 20 minutes, taking with them watches and jewels worth more than $73 million, including a 31-carat diamond solitaire ring that was alone worth an estimated $8 million. Perhaps the most amazing thing about the entire story is that the Pink Panthers had hit Harry Winston just over a year before. In October of 2007, they stole another $37 million in high-end jewels. Unlike that heist, however, the 2008 robbery did lead to several convictions in 2015, though most of the stolen valuables have never been recovered.
The 1976 robbery of the Societe Generale Bank in Nice, France, was appropriately called the heist of the century at the time it took place. Though the estimated 30 to 100 million francs worth of cash, securities, and valuables alone make this a notable case, it was thief Albert Spaggiari's use of the tunnel to break into the vault of the bank that truly elevates it to the level of an iconic heist. The plan began when Spaggiari learned that the sewers near the bank ran close to the bank's vault, after which he planned to tunnel in from below. In order to make sure that there was no seismic or noise-detecting equipment protecting the vault, Spaggiari rented a safety deposit box at the bank where he put a loud alarm clock set to ring overnight and trip any potential alarms. It turned out that there were no such alarms protecting the vault, and Spaggiari and his accomplices began the 2-month process of drilling a 25-foot-long tunnel from the sewer into the vault floor. On July 16th, on the French holiday weekend commemorating Bastille Day, Spaggiari and his men got into the vault itself, opening as many as 400 safety deposit boxes and making off with their contents. Spaggiari was rounded up along with the rest of his gang only a few months later, but amazingly, he managed to escape during one of his case hearings, jumping out of the window onto an awaiting motorcycle. He would spend the rest of his life in hiding.
In 1983, a gang of 6 armed robbers pulled off the biggest gold heist in British history at the BrinksMat warehouse at Heathrow Airport. With the help of security guard Anthony Black, the gang initially planned to steal £3.2 million in cash, but on arriving discovered the 3 tons of gold and other valuables in the warehouse and quickly changed plans. After using a forklift to load the gold into a getaway van, a process that reportedly took over 2 hours, the men escaped with an estimated £26 million in gold, diamonds, and cash. Though 2 of the men responsible were ultimately convicted for the robbery, security guard Anthony Black and crew leader Mickey McAvoy, the majority of the gold has never been recovered. Perhaps even more interesting are the rumors surrounding the deaths of the others allegedly involved, many of whom seem to have been the victim of gangland-style hits, which have been attributed to the laundering of the gold. The story has unsurprisingly inspired dozens of documentaries, movies, and books over the years, an obsession with the iconic crime that continues to the present day.
The 2003 Antwerp diamond heist remains iconic not only for its massive haul of more than $100 million in diamonds and other valuables, but also the ingenious way that heist leader Leonardo Notarbartolo and his four-man team were able to overcome the substantial security systems protecting the gems. On top of the diamond vault being 2 floors beneath the main area of the Antwerp World Diamond Center, it was protected by a lock with 100 million possible combinations, infrared heat detectors, Doppler radar, and a magnetic field, not to mention the building's private security force. The heist took 18 months of meticulous preparation and planning, key to which was Notarbartolo's renting of an office in the building where he posed as a diamond merchant and made frequent visits to the vault. Because of these frequent visits, his presence became a routine occurrence for security staff, something he exploited to plant cameras, learn information about staff operations, and even temporarily disable the thermosensors in the vault ahead of the heist.
The 2005 robbery of the Banco Central branch in Fortaleza, Brazil, remains one of the world's largest heists, at an estimated 164 million Brazilian real, or 71.6 million USD at the exchange rate of the time. It has even been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the greatest robbery of a bank. Posing as a landscaping company that sold natural and artificial grass and plants, the up to 25-person team rented a building in the center of the city, where for 3 months they constructed a 78-meter tunnel from their property towards the bank. The tunnel is said to have been very well constructed, containing wood and plastic reinforcements as well as lighting and air circulation systems. On the weekend of August the 6th, the team broke through the final 1.1 meters of steel-reinforced concrete at Banco Central and managed to enter the vault, where they spent a large amount of time removing and transporting their incredible haul. Though quite a few people involved have since been arrested, only a fraction of the money was reportedly ever recovered.
The art theft at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston resulted in an estimated $500 million worth of paintings and other works disappearing on the night of March 18, 1990. Included in the theft were paintings by Rembrandt, Degas, and Manet, as well as one of only 34 known paintings by Dutch artist Johan Vermeer, considered to be the most valuable unrecovered paintings in the world. Posing as police officers, the thieves were able to trick the security guards at the museum into letting them in. The thieves handcuffed the guards and left them in the basement while they conducted their roughly 90-minute heist. Amazingly, not a single work has ever been recovered from the heist, and though the FBI has had multiple suspects over the years, many of whom were tied to organized crime, no one has ever been arrested.
The 1978 Lufthansa Heist at New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport is perhaps best known in popular culture as a plot point in the Martin Scorsese movie Goodfellas. At the time, its almost $6 million in stolen money and jewelry made it the biggest cash robbery on American soil, none of which was ever recovered. Though Jimmy Burke, a Lucchese crime family associate, is said to have masterminded the crime, he was never officially charged in connection with it, likely because of the subsequent murders of many of those involved, which he is also suspected of organizing. The heist began when Henry Hill, an associate of Burke's, was tipped off that Lufthansa flew currency to its cargo terminal at JFK Airport, information that originally came from a worker at the airport named Louis Werner. On December 11, 1978, Burke and his men showed up at the cargo building housing the currency and cut the padlock off of the gate, after which they entered and proceeded to round up the staff in the employee lunchroom. The men then took the night shift cargo manager at gunpoint to the double-door vault to open it, where they grabbed the cash and valuables and loaded them into the back of their van. Once loaded, Burke's men took off in the van, but not before instructing the employees to wait several minutes before calling the police. To this day, the only person charged in connection with the robbery was the airport worker who originally tipped Burke and his men off.
There's perhaps no name more iconic in all of American heist legend than D.B. Cooper. Ironically, though, this name is actually only the misreported pseudonym used by the unidentified man responsible for the 1971 hijacking of a Boeing 727 between Portland, Oregon and Seattle, Washington. After buying a ticket on Northwest Orient Airlines under the name Dan Cooper, the hijacker waited until shortly after takeoff before handing a note to one of the flight attendants, informing her that he had a bomb in his briefcase and demanding $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting to refuel the plane once they arrived in Seattle. After several hours of assembling cash, refueling the plane, and negotiations between the FBI, the airline, and Cooper, the plane once again took off after releasing all passengers and most of the flight crew, now heading for Mexico City. At some point during that trip, D.B. Cooper made his famous jump. Although the plane was trailed by as many as 5 other aircraft at one point, no one saw Cooper actually make the jump, nor could they pinpoint a location where he may have landed. Despite a substantial manhunt and an active FBI investigation that lasted all the way until 2016, neither Cooper's true identity nor the whereabouts of his stolen cash have ever been discovered, making it the only unsolved case of air piracy in commercial aviation history.
The Great Train Robbery has managed to achieve a level of pop cultural awareness that even if you don't know the details of the heist itself, you've likely heard the name, or have at least watched or read something inspired by the events. In 1963, a gang of 15 men, led by Bruce Reynolds, robbed a Royal Mail train heading from Glasgow to London, making off with £2.6 million. Using inside information from a senior security officer within Royal Mail, the gang planned the robbery to fall just after a bank holiday weekend, a time when the high-value packages coach of the train, which contained large quantities of money and registered mail, would contain almost 10 times its usual amount. After tampering with a red light signal along the route, the train came to a stop and the robbers overpowered the train staff before moving it another half-mile down the tracks to the spot where they had planned to unload the money. Removing all but 8 of the 128 sacks from the high-value packages coach and transferring it to their truck in about 20 minutes, the group also used 2 additional vehicles with identical license plates to mislead any potential witnesses, after which the whole group headed back to their hideout at Leatherslade Farm. Unfortunately for the robbers, the dragnet tactic law enforcement used to track them down led to the discovery of their hideout much sooner than anticipated. Combined with leads from 2 informants, police were able to arrest and convict the majority of those involved in the robbery. However, most of the money was never recovered. That brings us to the end of our list. Let us know which heist you think is the most iconic in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Thank you for watching.